Welcome to Keepin' It Real, your go-to radio show for fresh insights and vibrant introductions. Get ready to dive into a world where we offer you the latest in real estate wisdom and the juiciest community tidbits. From expert advice courtesy of top realtors to opportunities to give back through local charities, we've got you covered. Plus, we'll shine a spotlight on the young athletes driving our local sports scene and uncover the buzzworthy happenings both in town and beyond. Stay tuned for a jam-packed hour of enlightenment and entertainment right here on Keepin' It Real.
What's in a name? Everything. Long Realty has been a cornerstone of Southern Arizona's real estate market for nearly 100 years. Our name is our bond, and our agents are our strength. Trust in the name that stands for experience and expertise. Visit longrealty.com or call 520-459-4993 to connect with an agent today. Long Realty. Smart move.
All right. Welcome to the show. This is the Keepin' It Real radio show brought to you by the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty Studios, right behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. Now, I am here with a special guest, Jennifer Webb. She is a local author. We've had a couple authors on the show, and so this is a new one. First time on the show, right?
First time.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So this is going to be fun. We're going to talk a little bit about her book, and it's a children's book, right?
Yes.
And we're going to talk about why she did it and what she likes about writing and everything. But before we do that, we always like to get to know the person in the seat. And so maybe you could start just by telling us a little bit about yourself. I mean, like, when did you get here to Sierra Vista, and what brought you here?
So in 2020, my husband had a job transfer, and so we came down to Sierra Vista. We were up in Sandpoint, Idaho, which is kind of where the story originates.
Okay.
And
And where is that in Idaho? Sandpoint?
Sandpoint is north. It's the North Panhandle.
Oh, wow.
And so it's way up there.
Way up there.
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half south of the Canadian border.
Okay.
And it's the coolest place because you can go an hour anywhere out of the town.
Yeah.
And you'll be in another state. So you're in Montana, or you'll be in Washington State, or you'll just be further south somewhere, but you'll end up out of Idaho because it's just that tiny, tiny panhandle.
Was it super cold up there?
No, it's really interesting because the mountains, the Canadian air goes around the mountains and freezes the bottom part of Idaho. We got a lot of snow, but it wasn't that cold.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And I've been to Idaho many times and hunted Idaho and everything, but I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Well, I didn't know that either until I got there.
I just assume it's way up there, so it's got to be cold. So
Right. No, it's amazing. It's an amazing place.
That's cool.
So we came here for a job transfer, and we've been here ever since.
Yeah.
And of course, we used your facility with real estate, and
we appreciate you.
Yeah, we love you guys and got to know you guys, and so thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yeah, no, it was great to hear. I didn't even know that you were an author until you told me about it, and so it's kind of cool. Like I say, we've had a couple authors and all different kinds of things that they've written about. And he even had some people who were into film and some other things. So that's what this show's all about, is really about our community and the people who live here. And I just find it so interesting because I don't know that I've ever been in a place where there was such a diversity in terms of people's experience. A lot of people, a little bit older community, so they've experienced a lot of life, and I'm just shocked by some of the cool things that people do. And so thanks for coming on.
No, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. So my whole concept of being an author started years and years and years ago.
Really?
I never wanted to be this old to publish my first book.
Okay.
But I stopped to raise my kids.
Okay.
And I focused on them. I'm a mom of 4 boys. So everything in my home was rubber, styrofoam, plastic wrap.
Awesome.
I couldn't own anything nice, couldn't own any crystal or china. I mean, it was broken by those boys. Right. I always would write little stories and poems.
Really? Okay.
And I'd have them in these notebooks, and I have lots of notebooks. But as we were visiting, my oldest son still lives up in Sandpoint, Idaho.
Okay.
And as we were leaving him this last October, not this October, but the year prior.
2024?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. this book kind of came to mind as I was watching. I love the trains against the mountains. I love the whole beautiful tall trees and how the sun is always just framed by the mountains. And as I'm grateful my husband drives, so I can be distracted by all the other things around, and I'm like snapping all these photos.
You have to give some lessons to Sherry because she's usually sleeping.
Oh,
At least you're out there looking at it all.
I just want to see everything. I just want to take it all in. And as I was taking some photos and I saw this beautiful train against the sun, and I was like, I need that photo. And that's when this book came to mind, because I've always had these trains. They would come in and out of this magical forest that we used to live in. And I was like, where do they go? Like, what do they do? But then I said, it doesn't matter, because where I live, it's magical because of the things around me. So this book kind of came together. I came home, I wrote this book and put it together.
Did you do it right away?
Right away.
Just right away.
I just really, because it was in my mind. I wanted to make sure it was on paper. And then, of course, I went through and edited, this or added this and tried to make it flow better, put it in a perspective. And then I was hung up on the illustrations, which has always been my problem as to why I've never published before.
Okay.
So I have loads of amazing photos. And especially when we were up in our magical forest, my one son took a photography class. And so we were out everywhere, taking all these different things. I'd take things in focus, out of focus, little things, big things. And we were taking all these fun photos. And I was like, I bet I could take those photos, something digital that I could make an illustration out of.
Okay.
And so I found a program where I could take my personal photos and turn them into oils. And by doing that, everything came to life. And it was beautiful. It erased the faces, because I had a lot of personal, photos and stuff.
Sure.
And it erased their faces, which made it so you can put yourself into these photos. And I was like, this is the way we're going to make this happen. I'm going to try this. So I put together all the different photos and put them through the system to see which ones came out good, because not everything comes out right.
Of course, yeah.
Every AI program has their own interpretation of what they're looking at, and you're like, a 3-headed snake? No, that's not going to work. These funny things. You're like, okay, that's so not what I was looking for. And as I was putting things together, and I put it on a list, I was like, this needs to be the book. This is a children's book. My mom would always have stories to read to the grandkids, and she struggled with some of the books out there because they either had really cool illustrations and the storyline was crap. Like, it just didn't go anywhere, didn't teach the kids anything. But then she, on the opposite end, right, she would have the storyline would be amazing, but the illustrations were blah. They just were so dull, and the kids didn't want to look at them. They weren't interesting.
Yeah.
And so when I told her about this book and told her how things were going, she's like, if you could make a book that made it so there were amazing pictures for the young kids that can't read.
Yeah.
And then you have simple text for those kids that can read, and you have a good storyline, then you'll have a really good book put together that people can enjoy for a long time.
Well, let me ask you a question about that process. So first of all, how long did it take you from the time that you actually conceptualized this book to the actual time that you produced it? You actually had a print copy.
Right.
How long was that?
It was a year.
A year, wow.
So, yeah. So in October of last year was when I wrote this, and then I found the publisher that would take care of it in April and signed with April. And then it says on there that it was printed September 10th, but I believe that's when they sent it to the publishing company that actually makes the physical copies.
Right.
And then I had the approval given to them October 10th.
Okay. So it took you about a year to put together and everything. And by the way, I've seen the pictures in here, and folks, they're lovely. And what a neat idea to use modern technology. Did that scare you at all? Had you ever worked with AI or anything like that?
You know what? It was such an amazing blessing. It was the answer to everything. I do some art, but it's not good enough. Every time I would do my own illustrations, I'm
It's
like,
tough,
no,
you know, unless you're professionally doing it.
Right. And I wanted this to be my story
Right.
and told through my eyes instead of somebody else's conception of what I was trying to write. So being able to illustrate it and write it is just a real beautiful dream come true.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, kudos to you for coming up with the idea to put, you know, your own photographs into oils, because I was looking at these pictures when you first handed me the book, and I was going kind of just thumbing through it and looking at them and thinking, oh, wow, this is nice pictures and everything. Who in the world painted these things? Because I honestly, at first I thought, wow, she is an amazing painter. I didn't know that she even painted, or I wonder if she had it done professionally. That would be so expensive. And here you were able to use modern technology to kind of bring that about, and in, like you said, a way that would conform to what you were looking at, trying to project, which is cool.
To bring my
Your
thoughts,
story.
my story, so that you guys could really lose yourself in a photo in my magical forest.
Huh. Very cool. All right. Well, I want to ask more questions, but we've got to take a break. So we'll be right back with Jennifer Webb, author of this wonderful children's book. It's called I Once Lived in the Magical Forest, and we'll talk all about it right after this break. We'll be right back.
In a town with heart and history, the Sherry Ethell Team is the key. Serving service that we agree for military law and retirees. Stress-free process you will see. Personal carries our guarantee. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team, we never halt. Real experts here to guide your way, making dreams come true every single day. Trusted team that knows just what to do. The Sherry Ethell Team, working for you. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team is your one and only call.
All right, welcome back to Keepin' It Real. Welcome back, everybody, and I'm Dion Ethell. I'm your host, and I'm co-hosting today with Sherry Ethell herself.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
So, you know, if you didn't catch what we were talking about earlier and you just tuned in, maybe you're in your car, driving along or whatever in
Out
town.
shopping.
Out shopping. Yeah, it's that time of year,
Last
right?
minute, yep.
So today we're kind of talking about all the wonderful people that we had on the show. I went through every one of our shows to grab their names and who they were and what they were doing. And as I compiled that list, it was 2 pages long.
Wow.
And I was stunned a little bit that it was so many. And it brought back a lot of memories.
Yeah.
So what do you want to talk about next? What kinds of people were we talking about?
So I think another group of folks that we interviewed were kids or adults and it dealt with scholarships or education or literacy.
That's true.
We had some authors on.
We did.
Both kids and adults, right?
Yeah, you know, there was a bunch of examples. So I guess one that comes top of mind, you know, was Stephanie and Joni Schaff. And they were kind of interesting. So this was the Cinderella Scholarship Program, if I'm getting that right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a pageantry thing. So it was mom and daughter, but mom is kind of like the director. She's running the show now. Just really got so involved that she became part of it. And it was really kind of interesting learning about that, because there's so much more to pageantry than really just kind of going up there and wearing a tiara, you know, that you think of.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. What was the biggest surprise in interviewing them?
I think the biggest surprise in interviewing them, honestly, was talking to the daughter. Mm-hmm. One, she was
very well spoken.
Very
right?
well spoken.
That.
Yeah, she was very well put together. And that's what they really talked about, is promoting each other. And what I really loved about her conversation was she really talked about how each of the members of this kind of community within the Cinderella program, how they help each other, no matter what age. And there's really a hugely broad age.
So it's competitive, but they're helpful.
Yeah, you expect them, I guess, to be you see from the TV or something, and that's such a stereotype. But you think of, oh, well, they must be some mean girls in that group or something, and it was totally different. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was totally different. That's awesome. Was very, very well spoken, and just talked a lot about how each of them had helped each other, and how she had been helped, and now how she was helping others as she grew. Yeah, and so it was really great. And you mentioned authors too. Right. So we've actually had a couple of them.
That was a surprise to me, the kids.
The kids, yeah.
And that amazing book.
At the time, they were, I want to say they were 17 because they're twins. Okay. So they're fraternal twins, boy and girl, Anna and Ian Burnett. They had written a book called The Queen of Spotland. Right. So it's about a dog, and it was about their dog. So they had a personal connection to it. Yeah. But in kind of a fantasy kind of world. Yeah. It's really cool talking to them. Yeah. And they're very great promoters of their book. Mm-hmm. I was kind of shocked because it was so well put together. Yeah, very professional. Very professional. Mm-hmm. And even right down to the box that it came in, because it also had a game that they created. Oh, wow. And so it had its own game kind of that comes with your book if you buy like the hardbound version. And they also had a smaller, soft cover so that kids could have it in school. Oh, neat. Which was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. I got to meet their dad and everything too, who came into the studio as support for them. Mm-hmm. So great kudos to them. I just was really amazed at the conversation with them. One of the things I just really thought was cool, it was the fact that they brought this idea into life. Yeah. So and then creative. They got it published, you know, and they actually turned it into a real book that you can put in your hand. And it was just exciting. And they were so excited to be on the radio. Yeah. As I listened to them talk, because I asked them, I said, are you guys excited to be on the radio? And they're like, oh, yes. They were super excited. Yeah. And it was just not really fun. No, but they were really cool people, and really, really, loved having Anna and Ian on the show talking about their book, The Queen of Spotland. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't gotten that book, you really should. Yeah. It's a great children's book. And another one who was another author of another children's book. Yeah, Jennifer. Yeah, Jennifer Webb. And I just had her on recently, and she wrote a book called I Once Lived in a Magical Forest. And all the pictures in the book were pictures that she had taken, and they transformed it like into art. They used AI technology to transform it into like paintings. Yeah. It looks like works of art, or like real works of art. At first I thought she painted them. I did too. I told her that on the show. It's funny that you mentioned that. I actually said the same thing because that's the first thing you think of. Yeah. Who did the illustrations? Those books, I think you can buy on Amazon, right? You can buy it actually anywhere where books are sold. So Amazon, Google, all those kinds of things. Okay. But what's interesting with her book is that Kindle paired up with her. And so she actually used a publisher, a publishing house. Yeah. You can get it for free this Christmas on Kindle if you have a Kindle. That's neat. So you can actually get it, which she thought was really cool to be able to download that for free. Yeah, because it's more to her, it's less about the money and more about fulfilling a dream and to tell people about this cool place. And what I didn't know, and I know this person, and I didn't know she was an author, but then I learned that she went to Russia. Mm-hmm. And she was working in an orphanage. Yeah. I was like, what? I was just like listening to her talk about it. And she knows a great deal about helping children through that whole process. Mm-hmm. And she kind of told us a little bit about that. So it was a great show to be able to listen to that and just listen about her story and why she thought this was like a magical forest. And then how she designed the book in a way that you can kind of create your own magical place. And then even down to the pictures, she didn't want pictures of herself or her family and stuff like that because she wanted other kids to be able to imagine themselves in there. Right. And this great place that they had lived once up in the forest. So what was the other? We had a learning center, right? Serenity so I guess they kind of fit in more than one category. It was interesting. I think you're talking about... Catherine Switzer, Switzer. From Serenity Learning Center. I had her on not too far back. We've done so many different things about educators, but one thing that was different with this one is she started a new school here. She actually has one in Phoenix that's already established, doing really, really well, and has a good following. But she's been a speaker all over the country, you know, talking about kind of an alternative educational process. And what's interesting is I learned a lot about from her how Arizona has kind of some broad strokes in terms of how we understand education and what's important. And then she was talking about how they kind of do it.
I was going to say, what makes their school different?
Yeah, just...
And what age groups is their school?
All age groups, but really focused on getting, I guess, your personal skills to be a human being and a member of your community. And, you know, not just your... Of course, there's always, you know, the math, the arithmetic, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know, the English stuff. But a lot of times it's kind of like if you're in a normal classroom, right? It's wait your turn. Everything's score based. So it's a lot of pressure and everything. Theirs is totally different. It's really about excelling and practicing it and becoming stronger community members and building better speakers and, you know, all those kinds of things. So it's kind of interesting. I found it different than I had perceived it, you know, because you come into a lot of these discussions, you know, you come in with a perception because you're like, oh, alternative schooling. Yeah. What kind of weird thing is that? You know, and then it turns,
just don't know much about it.
And because you don't know anything, and then your world opens up a little bit through some communication and talking with somebody about it. And she was very articulate about it and really kind of dialed us all in on what it was all about.
It's fantastic to have that option here in Sierra Vista.
Yeah.
As small of a town as we are,
there are a lot of options here, and I did not know that there were so many. So from public schools, we had just amazing people from public schools, as well as from these private schools and these kind of alternative learning centers, which is really cool. Loved it.
So I think another big group that we interviewed this year revolves around entertainment.
Right.
Content creators, events, lots of events.
Books to the big screen, right?
This is a busy, busy town. So
yeah. So one of them comes to mind right off the top of my head is Evan Eskew. I've had him on twice. So the first time I had Evan on, he was 17, I want to say, you know, and now he's graduated. And I just kind of did an update. And he does these movie shorts. And of course, I went and looked at them when he first started, and he's a little embarrassed about his first starts, right? But he's done a lot of them with, you know, family members in the beginning and everything, and it shaped to even more. Well, I'll tell you when we come back. It was really cool talking to him, and there's so much more.
Okay.
But we got to take a break.
Okay.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back. This is the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty Studios. Keepin' Real.
Discover excellence in real estate with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty, your premier choice in Cochise County. Sherry's amazing team brings honesty, expertise, and a deep understanding of the local market. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned homeowner, they're committed to your peace of mind and handle every detail for you. Their approach? Personalized service, above and beyond transactional real estate, building lifelong relationships, nationwide connections, local expertise. There's a reason this team is amongst the top realtors in Arizona and across the nation. You owe it to yourself to call or visit the Sherry Ethell Team, the top team at Long Realty, behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard in Sierra Vista. Call or text 717-599-2439 or Google us for more info. Real integrity, real results.
Welcome back to the Keepin' Real. This is the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty Studios. I'm Dion Ethell, and I'm joined with Sherry Ethell, my co-host.
Good morning.
And we're talking about all the wonderful guests that we've had on the show over the course. Yeah, just talking about some of them. We were talking about Evan Eskew and his movie shorts on YouTube and how he started off with his family, but now he's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. He had casting calls.
Wow.
In Sierra Vista.
That's amazing.
I was like, what? And he did these casting calls and got some community members to be in his shorts, and it's just really cool stuff. And he even got nominated for awards at some of the big film festivals.
That's amazing.
Which is crazy. This cool. Young kid.
Yeah, that's cool.
Really, really cool. And then, of course, you know, we had some different things when we're talking about entertainment, you know, right? Gaming.
Yeah. Gaming, yeah.
I mean, it's a thing, right? You know, our grandson, he's into Pokemon and and all these different card games and stuff. Minecraft, yeah. And
we interviewed Rising Sun Games.
Yeah, Rising Sun Games, right here in town, a local card shop, and
so Glenn, and then our son Cody was on,
and he kind of came on as just somebody he brought it to me, actually, the idea, because he likes to play these games too, different kinds of games than our grandson, but that's my grandson's dad. And anyway, he brought Glenn Lehman on the show, and the two of them talked about gaming and learned a ton about it. And I couldn't believe how many cards they sell. I was shocked. I mean, thousands.
Right.
Thousands. They have thousands on hand. Like 30, 40,000 cards they'll have on hand. And they sell all these things. It's just amazing.
And then
just
the
amazing.
Shootout Corral.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah, I do remember that. Robbie and Katie.
Yes.
The Yunts. And really cool interview with them. They are such special people. I mean, really down to earth.
Yeah.
And it was just really cool talking to them. Very open and honest about their experiences, but they're rodeo peeps. So they actually went on the road as young adults and did the rodeo thing, starving to death. They were feeding their horse better than they were feeding themselves. And it was just an interesting story to hear the backside of the rodeo tour, the circuit. And then now how they took that dream and built it into a new dream with their own corral. And his dad had kind of had something similar over in California, and now he's got his own thing. And
so really boosting tourism.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They're out there in Tombstone and have had some amazing, bull riding going on. Brought in some big actors, from the bull riding scene, and just it was a really great show. They were actually on a couple of times. We had them on. Telling their story. It was really, really cool people. Really neat stuff, and we just love having those things. And again, this county's fun. They got all kinds of events, isn't it?
Right.
All kinds of things going on.
So another big segment of folks that we interviewed, and near and dear to my heart, nonprofits, women, health, and mental support.
Yes, we had
it's a big category.
It is a big category. It's interesting that you put them all together like that. Who do you want me to talk about first?
Let's talk about Lori's Place.
So Lori's Place is, one a unique place. It's such a, they've got a symbiotic relationship with the police departments and the sheriff's department. And because, this is all about victims and their healing process. And they're not a halfway house or anything. They're actually there to help out. And so they have all these clinicians, these life coaches, peer support people, and just wonderful people who are helping things. Yeah, but they're a charity. And so, I mean, if I remember right, I want to say it was like $25,000 a month just to keep the doors open.
Yeah.
An incredible amount of money.
Yeah.
And so they really need our support.
But the work they do is something that no one else in the community does.
Oh, yeah. And we even had Chief Heiser from the Sierra Vista Police Department in here talking one time about it. And he's like, we have to have this. Yeah. It's so important. It's so vital to our community. And yet, they're kind of hanging out there making it month to month. And it's a real struggle. Yeah. But when you talk to these people, we had some cool episodes. I had them on several times. So the first time we had them, we talked about Lori's Place, and that was like last year. And then this year we talked about forensics because I wanted to get deeper and find out more about it. And
what
so
they do. Yeah, it's amazing what they do.
It is, and talked about a lot of the tools that they use. They've even got a machine that can actually see bruises that you can't see. Right. Which is crazy.
That haven't developed yet, but they can see it.
But they can see it. This machine can see it. And then we had Wendy Atney. She was our forensics person. Then we had Joyce and Kim talking about peer support and life coaching. But then we had Joyce Keck come back, and she brought back one of her victims. One of the victims actually came forward and was willing to talk about it, basically telling people, you need to come forward, and it's a scary ordeal. And he walked us through his experience and his experience with these people.
What a brave kid.
Yeah, they did amazing stuff for them, and they still are. And it's just really cool stuff.
And then Janet Morlock, she's a busy lady.
Yes. Yes. And if you didn't know it, Janet's a great talker. She has a lot to say. And she's from the Lions Club, Project Linus. You hear us talking about the blanket events all the time. But she also is a huge part of the Walk for Life with the American Cancer Society that they do up there at Veterans Memorial Park. And it's a huge thing. They raise tens of thousands of dollars every year for cancer survivors. She's a great storyteller. Yeah. And she tells you the story of these children and these adults that need your help, and just really a great advocate. And she's got a huge service background too, with fire and whatnot. But she's a great one in our community. Another one of these unsung heroes in the background. Shout out to Cameron and Kate. So Cameron Schipple and Kate Marco.
Oh, with Seniors Helping Seniors.
Yes, it was really cool. It's a service that you don't even know that's here.
Right.
And I didn't realize it was that flexible.
Yeah.
You know, they can even come in for a short period of time. Your father or somebody falls and can't leave him home alone. And so you can have caregivers come in just for a few weeks while he kind of recovers.
Right. Yeah.
And I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah.
You just think of long-term care.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool conversations with them. And of course, Just Kids Inc., one of our favorites here in town.
Famous casino nights.
Casino night. We
go.
love that.
I know. It's
over
so
at
much
Doc's
fun.
Watering Hole.
If you guys haven't gone, you need to go. It's so much fun.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. We don't win a lot, but we had a great time. I
still don't know how to play craps, but
yeah, right.
I tried.
It was definitely fun, but we had a bunch of people from the San Pedro Kiwanis Club on here. We had Shelly Sorecki and Donna Hilton for talking about casino night, but we also had Janet Wardle and Janet Ray talking about like the youth programs and all. I mean, they do so many amazing things.
Yeah.
The one story, and I talk about this all the time, but they were the ones who had this story about two children who were coming every other day. And they were coming every other day because they only had one pair of shoes. Super heartwarming and moving to hear those kinds of stories. And then other kinds of stories, when you're talking about a category that big, we have like so many different nonprofits here. And before we kind of get in the veteran thing, I just want to shout out to some of the other people who do great work for our community. And they're not necessarily nonprofits, but shout out to Grateful Goods and the work that they do, because Kat Hardy, she's been on the show many times, and she's brought in some of her vendors. Like I had a conversation one time with Tanae Lybrook from Preserved in Time, and she talked all about the foods she prepares and the health behind them.
Oh, right.
And so we've had a number of segments that were kind of health and welfare kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool. And she left me some amazing goodies.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, those cookies.
Yeah, it was really,
You can catch her at
really
Grateful
good.
Goods, right?
Yeah.
Second and fourth Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We've had the Friends of Sierra Vista Animal Shelter, of course, on many times, and the animal shelter talking about the pups and the cats and everybody, but just amazing people. You never know how much work is being done until you really get involved. Mm-hmm. And it's just some really great stuff. Now, you were talking about veterans.
Oh, yeah. Veterans are a huge part of our community. We've interviewed folks that have organized huge events like Stand Up for Freedom, right?
Yeah,
which
Doc's
we are
Watering
part
Hole.
of every year.
Yeah, we were actually a vendor there.
Warrior Healing Center, all the amazing things they do for our veterans.
Yeah, we love those guys. We've had a number of them on the show. This year, we actually got to talk with Josh Mayer a little bit about what he does for the Stand Up for Freedom event that they do with Doc's Watering Hole.
And Aaron and Victoria, Doc's Watering Hole, they're constantly giving back to the community. So shout out to them. Yeah, all they do.
They do so many events, and there's so many of them that are charity oriented.
Yeah.
And they give so much of their time. It takes an immense amount of work to get these things rolling, and then they give the money away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just amazing. And amazing people. Cheryl Oliver and Josh Mayer, like say, for that Stand Up for Freedom.
Yeah.
But we also had other sides too. We had some other people on. John Bateman, interesting story with him because he's a veteran, talked all about his military life and career and everything. He was actually bomb disposal. So he's, I was so surprised. He said something like, it's just inevitable that you're going to lose limbs or die. And a lot of them do. And a lot of them have really significant injuries. But his significant injuries was from an accident on a highway, and he actually got hit by a truck while he was on the side of the road changing a tire or something.
Oh, my goodness.
And then he got hit by another vehicle.
Oh, my gosh.
And devastating injuries. And he talked all about it. He's just a community member who had this story of resilience.
Right.
And it was just great. So it was great to hear his veteran background, but great to hear that story of resilience. I'm trying to think some other ones that we had.
How about Les?
Oh, Les, yeah.
Heroes Helping Heroes.
Les Pleninger. So he does Heroes Helping Heroes.
Right.
And so they're right up my alley. They're hunters. And so they take, guys who are disabled or have, something going on there and take them out hunting.
Yeah.
And so they can
great
experience that.
opportunity,
Yeah. It was really cool talking to him, too, because he has a very interesting background from his military service.
Oh, yeah.
He actually played horseshoes with a president.
Wow. And he lives here?
Yeah, he lives right here. Yeah, he actually played horseshoes with Ronald Reagan.
Oh, wow.
Which was really neat. It was
That
a really
is
neat
neat.
story.
Yeah.
Did it at Camp David. He was a Marine there.
Yeah.
And then he actually worked for Mr. Wynn from the Wynn Casinos.
Oh, wow.
Personal protection for his family.
Oh, my goodness.
And so really
That's
kind of a
cool.
cool story.
That is
cool
really cool.
background.
And then Bobby. Remember Bobby?
Oh, Bobby Wilhelm. Yeah.
Love that guy.
He is so cool.
Yeah.
So here's this guy who's like, I want to
You've
say
seen him around town.
he's definitely an athlete.
Yeah.
I see him running all the time.
Oh, okay.
A lot of times with his shirt off where he'll have it all rolled up,
Oh, yeah.
to a little half shirt. But he's like 87 years old.
Yeah.
And he tells this story about his kind of background and how he did a lot of things to kind of progress the physical fitness portion in the military and the Army. But then he tells you about the VA games. And
As a senior.
Yeah, he just learned about it. Somebody said, "Why aren't you in the VA games?"
Right.
And he's like, "I don't know. What's it about?
What do I have to do?
What do I have to do to get in?" And I think you could get into like 8 different categories.
Yeah.
He did.
And he
went back
swept it,
east.
right? How many medals?
7 gold medals,
Yeah.
1 silver, and he broke a 30-year record while
His
he was
first
there.
time at the
First
games.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he lives here.
He lives here.
awesome.
Just heroes in our community. It was so cool talking to him, and he's got a great Southern kind of accent,
Yeah.
and just a fun guy.
He's a character.
Just a real good guy.
And then what about our 4-legged heroes?
Animals, advocacy, those fundraisers that we've all had, and little shout out to our local shelter, the Nancy J. Brew Animal Care Center. But we've had other people on there. So trying to think of some of the people. So Renee Hopkins from
With
the Humane Society. You hear her
right.
on the radio, a lot of their ads.
Right.
Talking mostly about Tombstone, another advocate group. And then, of course, we mentioned Friends of the Sierra Vista Animal Shelter.
Right. Our annual Pups on Parade. And
Yes.
we did an event at Summit Fitness.
We did.
With Chris, yeah.
Yeah, so that was
Terry
that was
Farrow
kinda cool.
organized that.
Yeah, that was what do we call that? Reps for Rescues, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so there were all kinds of guys doing different competing sit-ups and push-ups and yeah. Some people
And
were
there's adoption
pretty
event,
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, an adoption event. Chris Betancourt over there at Summit Fitness helped put it on, and
Super appreciative for them doing that.
yeah, shout out to them and all their help to make it successful for us. And then, of course, our very own Sierra Vista Police Department Supervisor, Arlene Garcia from the Nancy J. Brew Animal Care Center. We've had her on many times, but
she's amazing.
She was a big help, along with Terry, who kind of created that event, along with Chris. And so that was really cool to see them. And then we had Brandon Sharp.
Yeah.
Brandon Sharp, he's quite a character. This guy, just a young guy who just saw a need for a number of charities needed help, and so one of them was the Tombstone Animal Shelter.
Yeah, putting an event together. We know it's a lot of work.
And he just saw it on his own, and so he just came
Jumped
and,
in
hey, I'll
and-
do it. But the crazy thing about it is, they aren't like small that he puts on. So at the shelter out there in Tombstone, he's telling me about this event, and I'm just shocked because there's music, there's food, there's a car show, there's all kinds of prizes, and it's all benefiting the dogs. And you can bring your dog food, and you can it was just like it was just this one guy put on the whole thing.
It's great
just
at
by
what he
himself.
does. Yeah,
and he came on a number of times during the course of the year talking about all the different
events,
charities and events that he was supporting.
Didn't they have one at
They did have one on Native.
Tombstone Brewing.
Yep, Tombstone Brewery as well. He's had a number of. He likes to do the car shows and bike shows,
which is huge in our
advocate.
town. Everybody loves the car shows.
Yeah.
And then Alicia Huff.
Yeah, Alicia Huff. She's actually running a business, and so we've had a number of businesses. We do these business spotlights. But the different thing was with Alicia is, so everybody knows Big Mike with All Pro Pest Management.
Right.
but not a lot of people know the people behind the scenes.
Right.
And so this is his wife who does a lot of the stuff behind the scenes. And so we actually got a chance to sit down with her, another community member, talking about, you know, all that stuff, and then talking about the crazy things they see and just, you know, community in general. And it was just a great conversation with a local business owner who's supporting the community. And they actually have like a little store there, you know, where you can buy like professional grade products and with expert advice from them, which is kind of unique. Yeah. So that was cool. But we also had a number of times with the Sierra Vista Police Department, you know, from the Nancy J. We had Arlene talking about celebrating animals. We did the Bark Bash at the park. Remember that?
That was a really good turnout.
It was a great event. Yeah. It really was. And really, really fun. And then we got to sit down. Of course, you mentioned Pups on Parade. We did that with Aaron and Brittany, one of the animal control officers over there at the Nancy J. And we sat and talked a lot about the pups and how to sponsor pups. We'll do that again each year we do it. This was the third annual,
yep.
And so that was kind of cool. But and then we had Chief Heiser on one time too.
Yeah, and he's a big animal lover.
He is a huge animal lover. Has some of his own dogs. And one of the cool things that I love about him is he talked about behind the scenes the actually enforcement.
Yeah,
and it was really kind of interesting because we hadn't never really talked about. We always talk about the fun events for the dogs and the cats and the adoptions, but he really got into talking about safety and talking about, you know, the do's and don'ts, leash laws.
Stuff,
It's really cool.
Yeah, very interesting.
Well, let's take a break, Sherry, and we'll come right back after these brief messages. This is the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty Studios. Dion and Sherry, and we're here keeping it real. We'll be right back.
We're the real wayfinders, the trailblazers, the go-getters. In a town where the desert wakes before dawn, we don't just talk, we make things happen. And when we speak, it's real, it's genuine, and it's worth hearing. Tune in every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on Canyon Country 97.7 FM. Join the Sherry Ethell Team for Keepin' It Real, where top realtors, local heroes, and the heartbeat of our community come together. Raw, authentic conversations, expert market insights, and the best local events you can't afford to miss. Keepin' It Real, celebrating our community. Bold, genuine, one of a kind.
All right, welcome back. This is Dion Ethell and Sherry Ethell with Keepin' It Real. And we are here for the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty Studios right behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. And we are talking about all the wonderful guests that we've had.
Our year in review.
Yeah.
The next group is the fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
All the festivals we've had, the food, the art, and actually interviewing business owners.
Immediately comes to mind Shannon. Yep, Shannon Thola. She is with the Forever Ranch out in Benson. Yeah.
What a great venue.
Great venue.
And the things they do for the community.
One of the cool things that I remember talking to her about, I asked her the question, so what are the stars like? Because, I mean, some very big country music stars were coming in for Country Fest and some of the other things. So the Cochise Country Music Festival was down there at the Forever Ranch. And I was like, so what are they like? Do they like the movies or whatever, where they like I want only green M&Ms, you know? And she was like, yeah, they really do.
Oh, wow.
They really do have, like, they come with their list of things that they want.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so she's got to kind of prepare that and make sure. And she does a lot of their own cooking, but they love it.
Yeah.
And, you know, that home cooking, because, you know, they're on the road. Yeah. They don't get a lot of that.
Right.
And so it was kind of interesting conversations with her.
Yeah.
I had multiple, you know, conversations with her over the course of the year, a couple different shows because they had several events. Her beer and brats, you know, event out there, and which is kind of her little. That's like her little thing, you know.
Yeah,
and
so much fun.
Yeah,
good music. Yeah, they do events. They do weddings.
You can camp out out there.
You can bring your RV and park it out there for the event. Yeah, what a great fun place.
Yeah, you can cold camp out there.
Good people.
It was really cool though. They had a lot of neat stuff. And she also came on a little bit later in the year. I remember talking about her charity event.
Oh, yeah.
And we're kind of mixing these charities in there too.
Serving Smiles.
Serving Smiles, was one of them. And so that's kind of their thing that they do. And so she talked a lot about what they do and how they help people around the community and around Cochise County.
And some other business owners. Everybody knows Barnett's Propane. So we had Troy on talk about
Troy
the
Barnett. Yes.
About the family.
So I've had, a unique relationship with those guys because before in my former career in federal law enforcement, I got to meet his dad. Right. And Roger was a very cool guy, very tough. If you could picture a tough rancher type cowboy, man, he was it. Yeah, he was real tough, and he'd give us a hard time if we didn't do the right things. He'd always want to know all about what we were encountering and things like that. Yeah. And so I had a great chance to meet him before, of course, he passed. And so this was kind of a cool opportunity for Troy to come on, not only as a business owner and a large part of our community, right? He owns the Barnett Towing and the Barnett Propane, but they have such a rich history. I mean, like dating back to like the 40s, right? And their, connection to the ranching community. And then talking about, like his grandfather, and talked about his first tow truck. Oh, wow. That was actually his idea to come up with and get a tow truck. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, wow. And it was kind of a risky business and everything. And it was just fun talking to him. And surprisingly, him and his dad, they're both in the Hall of Fame. I didn't even know there was a Hall of Fame for that kind of thing, but they are. Very interesting, this guy in our community who's been a big part of it for decades and kind of helped shape the community in lots of ways, really behind the scenes. You don't hear a lot from them, but I guarantee if there's a sponsorship, there's an event, you always see the propane or towing out there. And so they're always out there involved in our community. I love that. And then one of the things enjoyed towards the latter part of this year, and we're going to have them on again, is the Sierra Vista Food Co-op.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And not a lot of people know they're there, right?
I didn't even know you'd been there.
I've been there, yeah.
Yeah, sure, you'd been there. And I hadn't been there. So, I'm exploring this on the radio, and we're talking about it, and I'm learning all of this for the first time. And I go home, and I'm like, hey, I had the food co-op on there today. Pam Chandler and the folks out there, Sarita Harris and Monica Savarese. She's Italian, by the way. Oh, wow. Yeah, and she's president of the co-op. And so I love that name. And the way she says it, it just sounds really cool. But they have quite a deal there, and I had no idea you can make your own peanut butter there. Oh, yeah. There's all kinds of things from organics to their own brands. There's just a lot of neat stuff there to get fresh produce and other things. And you can actually, being part of the co-op, you can actually kind of say, hey, I'd like to see this on the shelves. Get it for you. And they can get those kinds of things.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Which,
what a great resource for
it's really kind of cool. And so I'm really super excited to have them back because they're going to do some more health and wellness kind of pieces because they do education out there too. Oh, wow. They actually have classes, right? Whether it's a nutritional class or it's a cooking class, but they have a lot of neat things out there. And I really enjoyed talking with those folks. So definitely going to have them back. So
some other new businesses. We had the Peppermint Barn on.
Oh, yeah. The Peppermint Barn. Yeah. I never even heard of that. And so we had Christy Lane and Melissa Ritter on here, and we were talking about the Peppermint Barn and this neat little shop.
And they have classes as well.
They
have
do.
A sourdough class.
And she has all kinds of ideas and where she'd like to take this, and she wants to do educate the youth and some other things there too. So just really exciting stuff. Definitely worth popping into the Peppermint Barn right here on Fry Boulevard and take a look at what they have. But really cool people, really enjoyed their company.
Some big events at Veterans Park, Art in the Park.
Lois Bravo.
Love that event.
Yes. And what's crazy is this woman, they've been doing it for over 50 years. Yeah. And so it's a big event.
I feel like they get bigger and bigger every year.
It takes a lot. If most people have been to Art in the Park, but if you haven't been to Art in the Park, you absolutely should. Yeah. And lots and lots of vendors. And Lois is an amazing woman that she's doing a lot of this herself. Yes. She's got a few helpers and whatnot, but she's actually been here many, many, many years.
Actually at the Wichita Art Association.
She is.
So when Art and Park's not here, you can actually go there and the artists feature their things. Yeah.
Yeah. Your dad has some stuff
He
over
does.
there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. His he's the wood carver,
spoon guy.
the spoon guy,
and the cane guy. Yeah.
Yeah, the canes. Yeah, he does amazing canes for veterans and everything. And another guy that we've talked to before from Grateful Goods, he's out there at Grateful Goods quite a bit. He actually got a neat ride this time. He got to go on the
honor flight.
The honor flight, and that was really cool. He was really excited about it and just had a great time on it. So shout out to the folks who put on that honor flight and to my father-in-law, George Bayshore. Some other people who we had on here. We had a couple of other community members, some other shout outs to businesses, spotlights. And so one of them was Bill Bonner.
Rain photography.
Photography. He's done a number of photo shoots for us for
senior pictures. Yeah, for the kids. Amazing experience.
But what's crazy is I learned that's not really as big of a part of business as I thought it was. Yeah. He does a lot more.
Yeah.
And
he does weddings. He'll do destination weddings.
Weddings are the big thing.
Right?
Yeah, he's even gone to what places.
He'll go wherever you want him to go. He's gone to, I think, like the East Coast a few times for the same family. Yeah. They keep having events and inviting him back. He's just amazing. Full-time photographer, very professional, makes the whole experience enjoyable. You know how teenagers are, right? They did not want their pictures taken, but by the end, they're laughing and smiling and showing their teeth.
And he takes some funny stuff. He's a funny guy. Yeah. He's really quite the comedian, and I really enjoyed spending time with him. But he, during our conversation, talked a lot about, just different things he does and kind of the fun stuff. He makes it fun every time.
He does, yeah.
And does some wacky things, and as well as just some really
and incorporates what
artsy
you want.
Stuff.
Yeah, it does artsy stuff, but incorporates what the kids want to do or what the bride,
mom and dad, and everything, or bride and groom. Yeah,
it's
really cool. Yeah, really cool. So if you're thinking of a photographer in town, Bill Bonner is your guy with Rain Photography. Yeah, absolutely outstanding. Some amazing work.
Executive barbers, which you got to experience recently.
Yeah.
Randy,
not the first time, right? Yeah,
but Randy goes there religiously.
Oh man, Randy is like hot on it. He loves it. We were talking about nothing like a good shave and a haircut, and these guys, these barbers, this is old school, so they get out the straight razor and the whole works. But talking about barbershops, and what was cool when we were talking to the owner, Michael Talavera, he was talking about the business side, which is something you really don't think about as much.
Right.
And it was really cool listening to him. Yeah. So really, really cool.
That's great. So another big segment over the year, we've interviewed folks with community services, agencies. We even had folks from Long Realty on.
We did.
Our CEO and
previous
manager was
we had Renee on here. We've also had our president, who's now moved on to become our broker Casey Woods. Yeah. But Renee Gonzalez was on here, and we had a little session with Dee Dee Holmes, our last manager. Now I'm the manager, so I've taken over that role from her, and so now I'm the sales manager here at Long Realty.
Some folks near and dear to our hearts, the home inspectors. We had Kyle Wilcox on.
Yes, some of the people who, really we work with. It was interesting hearing them. Kyle is an outstanding home inspector with certified home inspections, and it was interesting hearing not only the kind of the ins and outs of the industry, but industry standards. And really, he knows his stuff, and he really got down into the weeds with some of that. But we also had some fun stuff where he talks about some of the crazy, wacky things that he sees,
right?
And what we have to deal with in the real estate industry, and just how he got started. And it was just really interesting to get to know him a little bit better. But and we look forward to other ones that we might have in the industry this coming year. Ray's going to come out and talk to us from LZ1 Home Services.
Yeah, fantastic.
And he's like a local handyman, but he is amazing.
Yeah, he's
and
the best.
We can't wait to talk to him a little bit about his history, because I don't know a lot of times you meet these people and you know what they do,
right?
But you don't know a lot about them, and then you realize, wow, I really don't know as much, and I feel like I know them, but at the same time, I really don't know much about them.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun to get to know some new people
That's the
in
great part
2026.
about this radio show. We have gotten to know a lot of the community members and what they do.
Well, that's one of the first things we do is we talk about them and get to know their story. Because behind every great business is a great story.
Oh, absolutely.
And great people. Yeah, we've had some amazing stuff. We've had some of our own realtors here who've been on the show as well. And then, of course, we had some things that just, I don't know, moved the needle, I guess you could say.
Yeah, big events this year.
Big events, yeah. And there's so many. You mentioned a few, like Art in the Park, Cars in the Park. You know, we've mentioned all the blood drives going on. Casino night.
Make a blanket day.
Pups on Parade, you know.
Christmas in July.
The Bark Bash. Yeah, Christmas in July.
Food Truck Fest. Women's Council.
Oh,
Realtors,
Women's Council.
right?
Yeah. We had Women's Council on here. With the Food Truck Fest, we had Angela Simrad and Tara Patterson on the show. I remember talking about that. Great event. And just fun talking with other realtors from other brokerages, actually. Yep. We're all kind of a funny, wacky family that we all get together. And so really, really kind of cool. And last but not least, you know, I guess in closing, just a thank you to the audience, right? The people who listen to the show week in and week out.
Right.
And have muddled through some of our wacky times, you know. We've had some times where... Folks, again, I think we mentioned early in the show, we're not radio people exactly.
Right.
So, you know, we're realtors. Sherry's a former scientist. I'm a former law enforcement. And so here we are trying to do this radio show, buying equipment and taking some advice from people, obviously, but trying to learn how to use it. I'm sure if you listen to it enough, some of those early days, I had some, I don't know, wind tunnel experiences. You know, it sounded like we were in a wind tunnel at least.
No, but we appreciate that you've trusted us with all of our stories and all of our interviews, and week after week.
I hope you found it fun.
In. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you found it fun, and I hope you see that this platform is it's built around not just, you know, the community, but the amazing courage and the amazing fortitude of people here in our community. The real guts and grit behind all the work that gets done here.
Absolutely.
All the cool charities and all the cool events. And really interesting. And I was just, again, so struck by the sheer number. Because when you're doing this every week, you know, you got 50-some people.
Right.
Maybe you might have had 3 guests in the room. So you might have a lot more out of a year, and it's just crazy the stories that you hear, and you're always shocked. I'm always shocked,
right?
Because some of these people have, like, I was playing horseshoes with Ronald Reagan, and you're like, what? I won 7 gold medals, you know, at the VA games, and you're just like, what? We
appreciate it. We appreciate you guys. We love that you've helped allow us to celebrate with you. A big shout out to the military folks too, to the families, the folks that are deployed, all the missions that go on.
Yeah, we salute you guys. Yeah. You do the real work. The folks who are on the line, you know, doing the work from law enforcement to first responders to our military. Hats off to you. We all know from firsthand experience that it's a tough job some days.
Yeah.
Missed holidays, missed birthdays, missed anniversaries.
Yeah. We know the sacrifices that families make. We appreciate you.
And we appreciate all you guys who are community members. There's so much good work being done here in this community. People are sacrificing all the time so that others can have. We love laughing with you, mourning with you, cheering with you.
Yes.
And it's been a really great year. Again, this is Keepin' It Real. The Keepin' It Real radio show is brought to you by the Sherry Ethell Team right here at Long Realty behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. Thank you, Cochise County. We love you. Thanks for keeping it real another year.
See you next week.
And we'll see you on the next show. Keep it real.
Well, folks, that's a wrap on this week's Keepin' It Real radio show. As always, we're so grateful to have you spend part of your Saturday morning with us. Whether you're sipping coffee on the porch, out running errands, or out shopping for a home, we appreciate you. If something we said today sparked a question, or if you've got a great topic or guest idea for a future episode, we'd love to hear it. You can drop your suggestion in the Keepin' It Real suggestion box at the front desk of Long Realty, right behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. Or just shoot me an email at sherry@sherryethelteam.com or call call or text me anytime at 717-599-2439. We love hearing from you. It helps us keep this show real, relevant, and rooted in our Cochise County community. We'll be back next Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. right here on 97.7 Canyon Country, your first choice for legendary country.
Until then, stay safe, stay kind, and as always, keep it real, Cochise County.
What's in a name? Everything. Long Realty has been a cornerstone of Southern Arizona's real estate market for nearly 100 years. Our name is our bond, and our agents are our strength. Trust in the name that stands for experience and expertise. Visit longrealty.com or call 520-459-4993 to connect with an agent today. Long Realty. Smart move.
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of the Keepin' It Real radio show. Join us next Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. for more engaging interviews with top realtors and industry leaders, keeping you informed about the latest trends in real estate. Stay connected with us as we bring you updates on the dynamic events shaping our vibrant community. From exciting local happenings to noteworthy charities and causes, we've got you covered. See you next week for another edition of Keepin' It Real.